Hello, welcome. If you're just arriving, say a hello in the chat. Where you're joining from, who you live with, who you saw last today. And the last one matters for tonight. You'll see why. Now take a breath with me in through the nose and exhale it out through the mouth. And one more in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good, you're here. So for anyone new, I'm Nikhil. This is daily practice. Every session, I share something small that you can carry into your day-to-day. So tonight's practice is about people you love. Specifically about the gap most of us live with. The gap between how much we love someone and how present we actually are with them. 3 things before we begin. 1, get comfortable. Sit like a human in their own life, not a meditator. 2, have something nearby to write on if you can. We'll land on some specific things, and one specific window is important. So, carry something with you. 3, if something lands, drop a word. Yes, ouch, my daughter, my mother. Whenever name comes up. And we'll see it. All right. Let's begin. Finding your center. Noticing where you are. Noticing the energy present for this discussion. What comes up. And again, whenever you notice your mind has wandered away from today's topic or the thoughts drag you into narratives, simply acknowledge them and bring it back to the sound of my voice. So I want to tell you about a dinner. Nothing dramatic, just a Tuesday, sitting across from someone I love, plates between us. A conversation we'd had 100 times before in lighter form. And I was there. Technically, my body was at the table. My spoon was working. My face was doing the right things. And somewhere underneath that, half my mind was on an email I'd sent that afternoon. And the other half rehearsing the response I'd give to that next thing they were about to say. There were almost no part of me actually meeting them where they were. And I knew it. As part of that gets me, I knew in real time that I was missing something. I know that person genuinely love was sitting next to me, telling me something that mattered to me. And I was just kind of a polite hologram. Later, when I was alone, I thought about something the writer David White said, a line that stayed with me for years. You cannot meet anyone you are not already prepared to meet. And I realized the problem at that table wasn't the love. The love was fine. The problem was that I hadn't prepared myself to meet them. I had arrived at the table with my body, but the rest of me was still elsewhere, still in the day, still somewhere I've been earlier. And love on its own is fine. Doesn't close the gap though. And there's research on this. They feel the gap before we know we have one. But I think we all know this without research. The friend who looks at their phone halfway through your story, the parent who responds without looking up, the partner who is technically listening but isn't really there. We've all been on the receiving end, And if we are honest, we've all been doing it. So tonight's practice is for that, not for becoming a better relationship person, for closing that one specific gap between the people you love and you when you're actually with them. So take a moment, whatever arises or arose in that few moments, let it be there. Let it come up to the surface. Just noticing any changes in your mind state, in your body, and simply acknowledging. We've all been there and we've all done that. We've been told that closeness is a feeling, that you either feel close to someone or you don't. And if you're drifting, the answer is to feel more, somehow try harder, care more, reconnect emotionally. Well, that's kind of wrong, or at least incomplete. Closeness is not a feeling, it is a practice. And the practice is small, smaller than you think. You don't need to plan a meaningful evening. You don't need to schedule quality time. You don't need to even have deep conversations. Those things help sometimes. But the actual work of closeness happens in much smaller windows than that. It happens in the 60 seconds when your child is showing up. It happens in the 4-minute conversation in the kitchen while the kettle boils. It happens in the 30 seconds before you walk out of the door, or the 30 seconds when you walk back in. These are the moments most of us miss, not the big ones, the small ones. There's an old line attributed to Annie Dillard that I think about often. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Same logic, smaller scale. How you show up in small moments is how you show up in the relationship. You don't become close to someone in the big planned moments and then drift in the small ones. You become close in the small ones, and the big ones are just a reflection. So tonight's practice is a small one, 5 steps, about 2 minutes of real time, designed for the dinner you were already going to eat, the walk you were already going to take, the conversation that was already going to happen. And the practice is called close, CLOSE. And the word does double duty, close as in proximity and close as in completion. Both kinds of closeness matters. And we'll come back to both. Again, in these moments, just notice where you are. Come back to the stillness you have cultivated. As we begin to notice our breath, notice our body. Sometimes the tendency for us, when we listen, things take away our attention and we go on. So what is close? Close is an acronym for the idea which I would like to share. So the C in close stands for calmness. Here's what almost no one tells you about presence. You cannot be present with another person if your body is still in some other moment. You walk in the door from work, you sit down at the table, you pick up the phone when your friend calls, and the body, the actual nervous system, is still carrying the meeting that ended 10 minutes ago, the traffic, the text you didn't answer, the half thought you were chasing in the car. That residual is real. It's in your jaw, it's in your shoulders, it's in the speed of your breath, and until your body lands, you can't, no matter how much you love them. Be with them. When you walk, just walk. When you sit, just sit. Above all, don't wobble. Ancient Zen saying. So the practice is simple, and one of the most ones which people I think slip. So try this with me now. Take one breath. Let the out breath be longer than your in breath. Exhale slowly. Now actively soften your jaw. Most of us are clenching it without knowing. Drop your shoulders an inch and notice your feet on the floor. That's it. 3 breaths. That's the C. You do this in the car before you walk into the house. You do this in the kitchen before having the conversation. You do this before you pick up the phone for the call you're slightly avoiding. 3 breaths between worlds. So the next world has a chance of getting the real you. So that is the first aspect of the close practice. Calmness. Again, you can practice calmness right now. Maybe you are going to do something. So take a moment. Notice your breathing. As we move into the L of the close, which is the look. Once your body has landed, the next step is very simple and almost universally skipped. Actually look at the person. Phone away, not face down. Away. In another room, if you can. The science has settled. Even a phone face down on the table, switched off, measurably reduces the depth of conversation. The brain knows it's there. Part of you still have tracking it, both of you. This sounds aggressive, I know. We've all become so used to the phone in the periphery of every conversation that the idea of putting it in another room feels somewhere between rude and unsafe. As if we'll miss something. Yes, you will miss something. You will miss it on purpose. That's the point. And there's a word the philosopher Simone Weil used that I loved. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. The rarest, the purest. Not money, not gifts, not effort. The rarest gift you can give another human being is your full attention, and almost no one is giving it. Looking is the practice. Eye contact, soft, unhurried. Not the predatory eye contact of a job interview, the soft, settled eye contact of someone who has nowhere else to be. 3 seconds, 5, long enough that they know. And here's what I want you to notice when you do this. The other person changes. Their face softens. They tell you the real thing instead of the surface thing. They take a different breath. They just need to feel that you are there to receive it. So, phone away, not face down away, soft eye contact. Let the silence be okay. Watch what happens to the person on the other side. Again, noticing what this conjures up in your mind as we move into the O of close, being open. Now, this is one of the most of us don't even know we are skipping. We are calm, we are looking while we are technically present. There's often a quiet thing happening underneath. You're building a case. Sometimes, literally, the case for why they are wrong, the case for what you're going to say next, the rebuttal you're assembling while pretending to listen. And sometimes it's subtler. You're holding a story about who they are. This is just who she is. He always does this. I know what she's about to say. Quiet little verdicts that make you stop actually listening because you think you are already in the know. So, open means you drop the case. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. Shunryu Suzuki. Suzuki was talking about meditation, but it's the same thing in love. The expert's mind, the one that already knows how she is and what she's about to say, has very few possibilities. The beginner's mind, though, the one that meets the person tonight, as if for the first time, has all of them. So try this small move. The next time you are in a conversation with someone you love and you feel yourself starting to know how it's going to go, drop it. Say to yourself silently, maybe today is different. That's it, one sentence. Maybe today is different. And then listen as if it might be. Now, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it is. So practice openness. When you feel yourself starting to know how this conversation will go, silently say, maybe today is different. Listen as if you are meeting them for the first time. Often, you are. So again, take in this moment. Now we move into the S of close, which is stay. The stay. Very hard to practice, not because it's complicated, but it's uncomfortable. When a conversation gets a little hard, when it goes somewhere unexpected, when feelings show up, when you don't know what to say, most of us gently leave. We don't leave physically, we leave in a subtler way. We change the subject, we make a small joke, we get up to make tea, we check the phone, we say, well, anyway, and steer it somewhere safer. Anyway is the most interesting word in the English language. It's almost always in the moment we choose comfort over closeness. And listen for it next time you say it. There's usually something true sitting right behind it. So staying means when the conversation gets a little uncomfortable, you don't escape it. You don't fix it. You don't change the subject. You stay. Sometimes that means saying nothing. Sometimes it means asking one more question instead of giving one more answer. Sometimes it means saying, tell me more about that, when every part of you wants to redirect. The deepest need of the human heart is to be understood. Stephen Covey. Not agreed with, not solved, understood. And the only way someone gets understood is if you stay long enough for them to be. So next time when you practice stay, when you feel the urge to escape, to fix, to joke, to say, anyway, stay one breath longer, ask one more question. Sometimes the closest you ever get to someone is in the silence right after you didn't change the subject. So how does that land for you? As we move into the E of close, ending well. Most of us know about starting or beginnings. We know it matters, how we say hello, how we arrive, how we walk through the door, the first 10 minutes. And again, almost no one talks about the endings. And here's the thing, the science is consistent about. We remember the end. The last 60 seconds of any interaction shape how we remember the entire interaction. It's called the peak end rule. Daniel Kahneman wrote about it. Our memory of an experience is dominated by its peak, the most intense moment, and its ending. Almost everything else gets averaged out, which means, and this is the big one, the last 60 seconds of every conversation with someone you love is doing more work than you realize. It's shaping how they remember you, and it's shaping how you remember them. So ending well doesn't mean grand. It just means deliberate. It means you don't end a conversation with your eyes already on the next thing. You don't walk out of the room without looking at the person you're leaving. You don't hang up the call without one moment of warmth. You don't say goodnight to your kid distractedly while reaching for your phone. It can be tiny. A real thank you for telling me that. A hand on the arm, eye contact for one full breath at the door, the phrase, I am glad I got to talk to you tonight. And there's a Hebrew phrase that translates roughly as, here I am in the tradition. It's said by people in the Bible at the most important moments of their lives. Here I am, fully present, available, whole. Ending well is a small hineni, a way of saying in the last 60 seconds that we are here for you. You mattered. End well. Last 60 seconds, one full breath of eye contact at the door. I'm glad I got to talk to you. Real. Said with weight. And the ending writes the memory of the whole. Again, if you are still in a whirlwind of emotions and thoughts, that's okay. Just let it be. Now, how do we integrate all of this? This is where one person, one window is what we are going to talk about next. And here's what I want you to do before you leave this session. Pick one person, just one, not the abstract category of family. One specific human you love who deserves more of you than they've been getting lately, and you know that. Have you got them in mind? And now pick one window, one conversation in the next 24 hours that's already going to happen. There's a dinner tonight, the school run tomorrow morning, the call with your dad on Sunday, putting the kids to bed in 20 minutes, one specific window. And in that window, just that one, you're going to practice close, calm, look, open, stay, and end it well. And if you feel free, please share who that is going to be. It'll be fascinating to see who comes up and what window are you looking at. So today evening, I'll be having a conversation with my loved one while we are working out together. So that's interesting. So that's it. Not a project, not a transformation of your relationships. One window, one person, 5 small moves. And notice what happens. Not in them, but in you. The strange relief of having actually been there. So if you have listened to me so far, thank you. Appreciate your time and your intent and your warmth. Don't rush these things. And if you want to carry this with you, I've made a one-pager, a daily practice with Nikhil, being fully present with people you love, and this close framework, these 5 micro practices, and a small space to write the names of your person and print it, save it, and use it if you need it. So please reach out to me in the message later. And if it's the first time you've joined me, I do this live every week. Follow me here, and you'll see when the next one arrives. So let me close with this. The people you love are not going to remember the big trips. They're not going to remember the perfect days. They're going to remember whether they felt by you. Whether when they were in the room, they had your real face. And the strange truth about all of this is that the love is already there. It's never been the problem. The only thing that was missing was a small daily act of bringing yourself into the same room. So calmness, looking, open, stay, end. Tonight, one person, one window. That's the whole thing. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves. Take care of them. And I see you again in another daily practice.